I don't want to make it seem as though minimalism is this very linear, one-size-fits-all method of living, where there's no real minimalist that would own XYZ item. That's not what this is about. I love Joshua Becker's definition of minimalism: the intentional promotion of the things we most value and the removal of anything that distracts us from it. I love it because the root here is intentionality. And so today, as I share these 20 items that I no longer own or buy, keep in mind that they're meant as ideas rather than absolutes. You may see a few items on this list that you didn't realize you could probably go without. And who knows, you may even save some money in the process. For those of you who are new, hey, I'm Yessie. On this channel, we talk about minimalism and slow and intentional living. So if those topics sound interesting to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss when I post a new video. And also give this video a thumbs up so YouTube can recommend to you more positive content like this. First up is an essential oil diffuser. When I first purchased one, I thought that this was going to be awesome and that I was going to love it. That it was going to be super cozy because that bubbling sound would be like relaxing and the smells would be soothing. But it turned out to be something that I didn't actually gravitate to using very much because I'd have to remember to put the stuff in it and to refill it. And the particular brand that I had got really gunky and icky, and I had to try to figure out how to actually clean it appropriately. And I didn't like the idea of me smelling all that junk that was sticking to it. Like, it was looking moldy, you guys. Maybe it was just the brand that I tried, but it wasn't for me. Next up is coffee. This one is definitely not an absolute, like I'm never gonna drink coffee again sort of thing. But I did stop drinking coffee for the last couple of months because I was noticing that my teeth were starting to turn a bit yellow. So I took a break, did some oil pulling, and then just reverted back to my other teas and lattes. If you watched my channel for a bit, you know that I love lattes. They're just my thing. They're something cozy that really makes me happy in the morning, and it's really part of my daily routine. Usually I would always drink decaf anyway because I'm just really sensitive to the caffeine. And coffee's also really expensive, so I figured that if it's something that I'm not really addicted to, that I could go without and not really miss it, then I may as well just take a break from it. But I get it. I know that some people, they need their coffee and they cannot go without it. My husband's definitely one of those people. He's like, yeah, good for you. You do your thing. I'm gonna drink my coffee while I'm watching you. Number 3 is cereals and breakfast bars. Again, I'm not like judging you if you're doing these things, but they're just things that I have stopped doing. I get that they're convenient, but they're processed, they have basically no nutritional value, and they're just loaded with tons of sugar. So for me, what I had personally been doing when I had wanted to have convenience is that I would meal prep oatmeal jars. That was basically, I would put things like chia, flax seeds, carrots, or apples, and that way I could make something that was healthier, that was actually more nutritious, while not sacrificing the convenience. So basically what I would do is I would meal prep these the night before I would go to work so that in the morning, my breakfast would be ready. So if you're wanting to try to adopt some more healthier habits, consider finding a meal that you could have the convenience with, while at the same time not sacrificing your nutritional value. Number 4 is pajamas. Those elegant, classy ladies out there are probably thinking that this is horrific for saying, but I was never really one that would purchase pajamas or that found a need for pajamas. Basically what I use is my workout shorts that I love. I use them for working out and I use them for sleeping. I know it probably sounds horrible and counterintuitive, but I think that they're pretty, I feel comfortable in them, and I think that that's all that really matters. I think that confidence looks so much better on a person than what it is that they're wearing. And along those lines is swimsuits. I don't actually enjoy swimming. I'm more of a beach goer than a beach doer. So if we do go to the beach, I don't really see a need for a swimsuit if I don't plan on getting in the water. I may, but it's not that frequent if it does happen. So what I use is basically my workout shorts. Again, I love these because they're my workout short, they're my swimsuits, they're my pajama shorts, like they're just my everything shorts. So I definitely didn't see a purpose in having one item for an event that may happen once a year, if that. Number 6 is chewing gum. I used to be very addicted to chewing gum. I'd always have gum in my mouth. Back when I was in high school, I had horrible eating habits. I would drink Coca-Cola every single day. I'd eat those little Debbie snacks and those little packaged little dessert snacks all the time. And when I started to try to do away with those habits, my method was kind of to do one thing at a time. But when I started to cut back on those little snacks and the cookies and all those things, it was really hard for me because I had gotten so used to eating all the time, just chewing. I just wanted to have something in my mouth. It wasn't that I was hungry, I was just wanting to eat something. So I thought gum would be the perfect solution. But actually, I found that the more I would chew gum, the thirstier I would get and the more cravings I got. I don't know that there's any like scientific studies on them. I definitely haven't done it or looked into it. But being that I haven't chewed gum in years now, I can definitely say that for me, when I do start to chew gum again and I try it, I'm thirstier and I tend to crave more. I don't know, maybe it's just in my mind, but I don't really chew gum anymore. Number 7 is freebies that entice any negative habits, or saying no to freebies like junk food and candies. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that I never eat junk food. That's not the case. But what I am trying to say here is that sometimes it can be really easy to say no to those things that are actually costing you money up front, but it can be really easy to overlook the things that are free because you think to yourself, well, this isn't costing me anything. It's totally free. I'm benefiting from it. But sometimes all those freebies and little goodie bags that you get are just cluttering up your home. They're making it so that it's harder to find things around your home or that you're having to clean more things in your home. And when it comes to food items, if you're constantly receiving freebies, like I had an app on my phone that I was able to have free snacks and junk food basically at gas stations all the time. For a while, I thought, how awesome, I'm getting all this stuff for free, but I'm harming the environment because all these plastic bottles that I'm throwing away all the time with those snacks, I'm loaded with sugar. Again, I'd get thirstier afterwards and then I'd just feel icky. I'd feel icky after drinking these really sugary loaded drinks and these gas station pizzas that are just probably the most horrible in nutritional value when it comes to a pizza in general. So I decided that I would get rid of it and I deleted that app, and actually I haven't missed it at all. Number 8 is t-shirts, like fundraisers, promotions, and one-time events. I remember that when I watched the documentary, The True Cost, I was bawling my eyes out. I had no clue that my purchases that I make in the name of fashion were harming the lives of other people. And so what I do now when it comes to t-shirts and things that I know for a fact I will never wear again, or that I'm probably just going to stash in my closet somewhere, is that if I am trying to support a specific fundraiser where they're selling t-shirts, so I'll just give them the money and then just ask them not to order me a shirt. And really in general, the same goes for any kind of fundraisers where people are trying to sell me a particular item that I know for a fact I'm not going to be using, then I'll just give them the money and say, but don't order me that item. Number 9 is dryer sheets, dryer balls, and fabric softener. I actually used to use all of these things. When I eliminated the dryer sheets, I tried the dryer balls and I thought they were cool and they definitely lasted a while until one day they got lost somewhere. I guess my kids were playing with them and I just went without them and realized that they weren't really necessary either. And in terms of fabric softener, I actually only do this with our sheets, but I don't use fabric softener. I use Epsom salts with essential oils. This makes our sheets smell delicious, it makes them softer, and it's a non-toxic alternative. Number 10 is drinks at restaurants. Water is pretty much free at any restaurant that I've ever been to, and it will probably be healthier than a great majority of any of the drinks that you'll find on the menu. And if you feel courageous enough to brush off some funny looks, you can take a little squirt bottle of your favorite flavorings and have some flavored water without having to pay anything for it. Number 11 is Q-tips. You're probably gonna think that this is gross, but when I was a kid, we didn't have money for this type of stuff. And first of all, I don't think we even knew what this stuff was. So my mom, what she would do is she would clean our ears with bobby pins. I'm not telling you to try this at home. Don't puncture anybody's eardrums, but this is what I've always done. I've just always cleaned my ears with a bobby pin, cleaned it up, and use it again. Number 12 is alcohol and social gatherings. I say the social gatherings part because I was never really much of an alcohol drinker. I've actually never been drunk in my life and I never really saw a point in it. But at the same time, if I was at a restaurant and a friend would drink, I would join in, or if they would offer me something in their home, I would accept it. But I'm embarrassed to admit that I did that only out of people pleasing because I didn't want that person to feel left out or to feel like I'm rejecting them, or I don't know, I did it specifically out of people pleasing behavior. I was recently listening to the book Boundaries by Henry Cloud, and it just was like an aha moment for me, realizing that people pleasing is not the loving thing to do. Mind you, again, I was never drunk from drinking alcohol. I would only drink one drink, but still, the fact that I was accepting these things just to make somebody else feel a certain way or so that they would perceive me a certain way was wrong in and of itself. So I would think things to myself like, oh, if I say no thanks, I don't drink, they're gonna think, oh, she's Miss Goody Two-Shoes, she doesn't drink, or things like that I would just make up stories in my mind. So now if somebody does offer me alcohol, I just say no thanks. And anybody that's truly my friend and cares about me will not feel rejected by that and will be able to respect that. So if I actually do say, yes, thank you, it's gonna be because I want to. not because I'm worried about how somebody else is going to perceive me. Number 13 is shaving products. Regular Castile soap is basically my shaving cream. I no longer buy the depilatory creams or disposable razors. I have a safety razor that I purchased about a year ago for $20 and a pack of 100 blades for $8, which have lasted me well over a year and will probably easily last until the next year. Number 14 is disposable napkins and paper towel rolls. We actually used to buy these items in the past, but I have 2 kiddos now and I'm basically doing laundry just about every other day, if not every day. I found it so much easier now just to use cloth napkins, wash them, and reuse them again. Number 15, body washes, creams, toners, face serums, and just any body care paraphernalia. Essential oil Castile soap is basically our body wash, and no surprise, coconut oil is my lotion. To my surprise, it wasn't until I actually got rid of all those multi-step regimens and face serums that my skin actually cleared up. So now what I basically use is foaming Castile soap to wash my face, and then I just follow up with coconut oil. Sometimes I live on the wild side and I just change up the essential oils on the Castile soap, like eucalyptus or citrus. And yeah, that's about it. That's Yessie, living on the wild side, y'all. Number 16, floor cleaners, foaming cleaners, basically any specialty cleaners. Baking soda, vinegar, and Castile soap pretty much get any surface clean, and I can just add essential oils if I really want a fresh scent without adding any endocrine disruptors. Number 17 is juices and soda. I admit this is something that took me years to be able to accomplish because, as I mentioned, back when I was in high school, I was heavily addicted to Coca-Cola. I would drink it every single day. And I realized that I wanted to change and I wanted that habit to stop. So that became my first goal. In order to stop drinking Coca-Cola, yes, I kind of did switch over to drinking fruit juices, but I missed that bubbling, and it took me, I would say, a good month or 2 to be able to kind of no longer crave it and no longer desire it. It actually got to a point where I just didn't have the palate for that bubbly. I don't even like it anymore. And then eventually, after I beat that addiction, then my next goal was the juices. And so I switched to drinking teas. And now that I've kind of progressively gotten a little bit better at removing all of these like sugary drinks, I could basically drink water with my meals and I'm perfectly content. But I definitely admit it took a while to get me there. Number 18 is ice cream. I'm actually not a big ice cream fan. I'm more of a pastry fan than ice cream, but my husband and my kids are. And what we do in the summer is that we basically freeze up some fruits and some ice cubes with milk or coconut milk, sometimes even water, just depending on what we're making. And then we just blend it all up. We have a Vitamix, so yes, it's meant for making ice cream, but you don't have to have something fancy in order to make it. You can actually just blend it in your blender, put it in the freezer for a little bit until it gets thick. Or making popsicles as well, which is something that we tend to do and our kids love. It can be a great way to not only have a healthier and cheaper version, but also it can be really a fun experience just to try new recipes. Number 19 is bottled water. We have a Berkey filter that gives us clean water here in the home, but for years my husband and I have been huge fans of Yeti. I'm not sponsored by Yeti, I'm just somebody that has used them and purchased their things for years. My husband works in construction in the hot summer weather and in really cold weather as well, and I have been working as a home nurse, so I drive and I don't have a refrigerator, I don't have a microwave for things, and Yeti has been the one brand that has been able to keep my drinks cold or warm in either weather. And so basically I just fill up my water bottle here in the home and then just take it with me wherever I go. So no need to ever purchase bottled water. And lastly, number 20 is lottery tickets. I actually haven't purchased one in several years, but I would say that probably for the first 2 or 3 years after I turned 18, I was doing that constantly because I had just turned of age and I was super excited that I could buy them. And I worked at a store that would sell them, so it was constantly in front of me. And I found that if I stayed away for a while, I would kind of just forget about it. But something would happen the moment I would buy one and I would win a ticket. It just would keep me hooked to try just one more time. Thankfully, I'd never really won anything significant and I got bored of it and I just stopped it altogether because at the time I was working for minimum wage as a cashier and I was spending my hard-earned money for a chance to win at something. When if I had really learned about money, investing money, saving money, then I could have put it towards something. I found that for me, buying tickets came from a scarcity mindset. From if I get lucky, then I can be rich. Until I realized that if I make smarter purchases and learn about investing, learn about saving, then I can and ought to make money so that I can be financially free, so that I can spend more time with my family, so that I can give to other people, so that I have less stress. I don't want to rely on a 1 in a million chance that the lottery might give to me. This is just my personal take on the lottery. It's definitely not an attack for you if you do this every now and then and you have the means for it. It's just that for me, it was definitely a mindset thing. It was a scarcity. I'm a victim. And I had to change that mentality and put it back in my hands that I can be responsible. I can learn how to manage money. I can learn how to save. I can learn how to invest. And I don't have to rely on a chance, that I can work towards that. So that's just my personal take. That's it for today's video. I thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see any specific videos, let me know down in the comments below or send me an email. And let me know what is one thing that you have stopped purchasing that in the past you couldn't see yourself without. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. Until next time, bye for now.